Hey there, folks. Imagine waking up one day to find out you've been gone not just from your life, but from the world for 6 whole years. Your house stolen, your name erased, and some stranger sipping coffee on your porch like they own the place. That's where my story starts, and trust me, it's a wild ride. My name's Jack Tanner, a retired chopper pilot who flew rescue missions in Iraq. And this is how I fought to take back my home in the Wyoming mountains from a woman who thought she could rewrite my life. It was late spring, 2024. When I opened my eyes in a hospital bed, a flickering light buzzing above me, and a nurse, Jenny, her tag said, staring like I was Lazarus rising. "He's awake," she gasped, hands flying to her mouth, and I just lay there, throat like I'd swallowed a cactus, every muscle screaming like I'd been hit by a truck. The doc came in, a quiet guy with tired eyes, and dropped the bomb. "Jack, you've been in a coma since 2018. Car accident, hit an elk on Route 12 near Elkwood Pass. 6 years. Gone. My dad passed before the crash, my sister years before that, no wife, no kid, just me, a stubborn body that wouldn't quit, and a memory of headlights, antlers, and the sickening crunch of metal. I was 42 when I went under, now pushing 50, and the world had moved on without me. Those first months were hell: protein shakes, physical therapy, teaching my legs to work again, like a toddler learning to walk. All I had was this image in my head, my cabin, tucked in the Wyoming pines, where the air smells like cedar and the only sound is wind whispering through the trees. That place was my anchor, built with my own hands after years of eating desert dust for Uncle Sam. The hospital bills? Covered by a vet's trust and some long-term insurance I'd set up back when I thought, I guess someone upstairs was still rooting for me. By early 2025, I could stand without collapsing, so I hired a ride to get me home. No family to call, no welcome party, just a backpack, my old keys, and a heart full of hope. The drive up was like stepping into a dream. The forest looked older, the road rougher, and the driver, a chatty local named Pete, rambled about how some rich lady had fancied up the valley. "Got HOA types now, telling folks how to paint their mailboxes," he grumbled. I shrugged it off. Me 80 acres were mine, free and clear, no HOA nonsense. But when we hit the gravel path to my place, my stomach dropped. The old gate was gone, replaced by a shiny metal fence with motion sensors and a camera tracking us like we were sneaking into Fort Knox. A sign read, "Private property, trespassers prosecuted." Pete squinted. "You sure this is your place, man?" I nodded, stepping out, boots hitting gravel that felt wrong, too new. The porch gleamed with fresh stain, a wind chime dangled where my elk antlers used to be, and a kid's purple bike leaned against the railing. Then I saw Edith's steaming mug on the banister, like someone was home. The door swung open, and out walked a woman, mid-50s, wrapped in a bathrobe, holding a mug that screamed Silver Pines HOA president. She eyed me like I was a lost hiker, smirked, and said, "Can I help you?" I swallowed hard, voice rough as sand. "This is my house." She laughed, sharp and mean, like I'd told a bad joke. "Oh, honey, I'm calling the cops." And she did, right there, sipping her coffee while I stood on my land, feeling like the ground was slipping out from under me. My chest tightened, not from anger, but from the sheer insanity of it. 6 years in a coma. And now I'm the trespasser? Sheriff's deputy rolled up in under 20 minutes, a guy named Harris with mirrored shades and a hand near his holster. The woman Lydia, I'd learned, pointed at me like I was a stray dog. "This man's claiming my house. Never seen him before." I took a breath, reached into my coat, and pulled out a folder I'd carried like a lifeline. Driver's license, deed, county records, my medical discharge. "I'm Jack Tanner," I said, calm as I could fake it. "This is my property. Been in a coma since 2018, just got out." Harris flipped through the papers, one eyebrow climbing higher with each page. Lydia crossed her arms, voice like a whip. "That house was abandoned. I fixed it up, paid the utilities, and made it livable. That's adverse possession." I clenched my jaw. "Not when I'm alive and my trust's been paying taxes." I handed over bank statements, every quarterly payment clean as a whistle, my name on every line. Harris scratched his chin. "This is messy, but Jack's got a title. You'd need a court to challenge that, ma'am." Lydia's face went tight, like she wasn't used to hearing no. "You're saying he just waltzes in after 6 years and takes it back?" Harris shrugged. "That's what owning something means." I stepped forward, voice steady. "I'm not here to fight. I just want my home. I almost died, lady. This is all I've got." She didn't answer, just stormed inside and slammed the door. Harris gave me a tired nod. Court's your next stop. You've got a case, but hell of a welcome home. He left, Pete drove off, and I stood there, legs aching, watching smoke curl from my chimney, feeling hollowed out. I checked into a motel, sat on a creaky bed under a buzzing light, and stared at my hands. I should have been raging, but all I felt was nothing, like Lydia had stolen more than my house stolen my place in the world. Sleep didn't come, just that screaming silence you get when your life's been hijacked. The next morning, I met Tom Bradley, a real estate lawyer from Casper with a no-nonsense vibe and eyes like a hawk. He scanned my papers, snorted, "Adverse possession? That's cute. This won't even be close." I almost cracked a smile. Tom filed an injunction to freeze anything tied to the property, and I hired a PI, ex-ATF guy named Vince with a voice like gravel. Vince moved too fast. Turns out, Lydia wasn't just living in my house. She turned it into a cash cow. 2 Airbnb listings, my porch and fireplace plastered online, raking in thousands. One review gushed about the veterans retreat vibe. Another mentioned Lydia saying the owner passed in the woods. My hands shook so badly I couldn't scroll. Then Vince dropped the bomb. Lydia filed a death certificate in 2021. My name, Jack Tanner, declared dead from exposure, signed by a notary who didn't exist. She'd erased me, used it to justify the rentals, the HOA claims, everything. Tom whistled low. This isn't trespassing, it's fraud, felony level. I stared at that paper, my death staring back, and felt ice in my veins. Lydia wasn't confused. She was a predator. The court wasn't drama techno-gavels, just a dusty room and a judge who looked done with life. Lydia sat there, dressed like she was headed to a fundraiser, not glancing my way. Her lawyer spun a tale about her saving an abandoned house, but Tom came loaded. He laid out the deed, tax records, Airbnb receipts, and that fake death certificate. The judge peered over his glasses. "This is supposed to be the plaintiff?" Tom nodded. "Filed in 2021, Your Honor." Bogus notary, forged signature. The room sucked in a breath. Lydia's lawyer stammered, but the judge shut him down. "This is criminal territory," he said, and banned Lydia from the property. She claimed she had a cat inside, but Tom had proof that her Airbnb was shut down. That night, I watched a deputy hand her an eviction notice. She screamed about rights, but her cat Scruff, I named him, ran to me like he knew who belonged there. The mountain felt quieter, but I knew this wasn't over. Tom pushed deeper, and we found Lydia's trail of victims. There was Sarah Klein, a nurse who left for cancer treatment and came back to find her yard turned into Lydia's community garden. Then Mike Torres, a Marine deployed overseas, whose cabin Lydia secured while he was gone. Both shared their stories, eyes burning with the same betrayal I felt. Vince uncovered more. Lydia tapped my septic system into public land without permits, forged HOA votes, and even bullied neighbors into selling. She wasn't just a thief. She was a one-woman empire, playing victim in the local paper, crying about being targeted by a bitter vet. The backlash hit hard. Her neighbors turned, and someone trashed Tom's office, pouring coffee into his computer. She was desperate, and I was waiting. The final trial was a slaughter. Tom painted Lydia as a vulture, preying on the sick, the absent, the fighting. Sarah and Mike testified, their voices raw. Sarah choking up about her stolen garden, Mike saying, "She's worse than the enemy overseas." The death certificate sealed it. Forensic proof that it was fake, tied to Lydia's handwriting. Her lawyers tried a mental health excuse, but Tom played a voicemail of her bragging, "No one's got the guts to sue me." The jury took 4 hours. Guilty on fraud, trespass, forgery, the works. 7 years in prison, no parole for 4, assets seized, restitution ordered. Lydia stared at the wall as they cuffed her, like the world owed her something. I didn't cheer, I just breathed. The next day, I stood on my porch, Scruff at my feet, the pines glowing gold in the sunrise. Neighbors brought stew, a quilt, and even helped rip out Lydia's tacky tiles. Someone nailed a sign by my mailbox, "Welcome back, Flyboy." I hung a new one on the gate. "This house belongs to a living man, try me, Lydia." Folks laugh. The mailman snapped a pic, but it's no joke. Silver Pines HOA? Gone. Their clubhouse accidentally burned down. The mountains are quiet again, just me, Scruff, and the stars. But here's the thing, Lydia's locked up. But people like her? They're still out there, waiting for you to blink. So what do you think? Was justice served, or did I just get lucky? Drop a comment, Share your take. Have you ever had to fight for what's yours? Let's talk.